Soul Hunter's Prayer written by Shema'yah Bey. The following excerpt is a work of fiction, Pocket Monster. Metairie, Louisiana. Paradise placed the containers of fried chicken, crab cakes, stuffed shrimp, sweet potatoes, and double-cut pork chops with a citrus glaze, served over a medley of greens in front of her great-grandfather's mausoleum. These were some of Papa Cicero's favorite foods. Certainly, he couldn't physically eat the food, but Paradise understood two things: that the aroma of the food served as the key, or bridge, between her world and the ancestral realm Papa Cicero resided in, and that he'd find the scent satisfying. After setting up the feast, Paradise got comfortable and spent time in the graveyard having a serious conversation with Papa Cicero. A part of their exchange included Paradise offering thanksgiving to him for saving her mother, Nina. Nina needed protection in the world of spirits. Her multiple suicide attempts made her an easy target for tormentors that attempted to stop her from entering the tunnel of light. According to Tibetan monks and some conspiracy theorists, the tunnel of white light serves as the soul net, or doorway, into the reincarnation cycle. Whether this is true or not, Madame Montoyier and Papa Cicero weren't having it. So, they orchestrated an onslaught wherein their ancestors, along with their beloved friends and pets, fought those despised tormentors using celestial weapons unfamiliar to flesh-bound creatures. Their fearless assault forced the tormentors to step aside, enabling Nina to travel through the tunnel of light. The tormentors were the same hooded demons depicted in the movie, Ghost. Clearing the way for Nina was important. Enabling her transit through the tunnel was imperative. Madame Montoyier and Papa Cicero knew this. They knew that Nina needed to reincarnate, that she needed to repeat a life cycle. They refused to allow her to remain in utter darkness. What Paradise said to Nina resulted in pain, remorse, and hope. When Paradise was in a hermetically induced coma, Nina's spirit came to her appearing in a catatonic state. She conveyed to Paradise her eagerness to go to, and to be in that permanent sleep. Nina's message was so disturbing, so painful, so negative, that it triggered an extreme rise in her daughter's brain activity. In fact, Paradise's brain activity was off the proverbial chart. This was encouraging and led the medical staff to slowly wean her out of the coma. Nina made transition 1 week after Paradise woke from her coma. The coroner's paperwork reported broken heart as the cause of Nina's death. Respectfully, Paradise spoke to her mother in Creole as she stood in front of Nina's crypt. With gratitude and sincerity, she said, "Thank you, Mama, for waking me from that coma. We didn't always see eye to eye, but that doesn't mean I never stopped loving you. I know my mom and Papa Cicero, they got your back. Everything in my world ain't so good right now, but I guess you know that. Please tell the Great Spirit to send me some help as soon as possible. Thanks, Mama. Oh yeah, I know your minister said we shouldn't honor our ancestors. Well, I'm going to honor you anyway. I brought your favorite foods from Dookie's. I got you some Creole gumbo, red fish, and some other fixins. Okay, Mama, I'm going to go see my mom now. But, we'll see each other again. Je t'aime, Mama." From the passenger's seat, the National Director's human contact employed the use of a telephoto lens to photograph Paradise's movement. Unaware of her purpose, it seemed to him that she was prancing about proudly. She walked with the food in hand toward Madame Montoyer's mausoleum. How blessed Paradise thought them to be that Hurricane Katrina flooding hadn't ravaged either Papa Cicero's or Madame Montoyer's mausoleums. In fact, there was no indication of any water damage whatsoever. The same could not be said for Nina's crypt. It had not been spared and showed clear signs of the hurricane's impact. According to the directive outlined in Madame Montoyer's trust fund, in the event that she was not alive at the time of her daughter, Nina's passing, the state of Louisiana was instructed to have Nina's body interred at the Metairie, Louisiana cemetery. In the summer of 1951, Madame Montoyier showed the amenable Negro mortician how to prepare her father's body according to his wishes. This required that she teach the mortician the ancient art of Egyptian mummification and burial rites. The result is that were Papa Cicero's body ever be exhumed, anyone involved would surely take note and remark on what an incredible find he was. that his mummified body was so well preserved, he appears to be sleeping. Per Papa Cicero's directive, prior to initiating the mummification process, Madame Montoyier was to make his death mask. Death masks are facial replications, cast in plaster, of the departed. Generally, they are made shortly after the individual's passing. In Papa Cicero's case, he told Isabella long before she became Madame Montoyier what combination of herbs to use. The 18th and 19th century makers of death masks never used herbs in their plaster and water mixture. Papa Cicero instructed Madame Montoyier to combine several powdered entheogens, herbs, with the powdered plaster. He also told her to add a few drops of white rum to the water when preparing the plaster batter. Before she poured the mixture, Madame Montoyier, in secret, whispered the ancient African cosmology Bantu Congo prayer over the plaster mixture. As part of the family ritual, she caringly poured the slurry over her deceased father's face. Once the plaster mold set, Madame Montoyier lovingly removed her father's death mask and smiled slightly. Papa Cicero told Madame Montoyier his death mask was to remain with their family's magical war chest. Speaking Chada, also known as Choctaw, he stated, "My death mask is meant for your daughter's daughter." "You're funny, Papa. You said, 'my daughter's daughter,' when I don't even have a man, let alone a daughter," snickered the then 21-year-old Madame Montoyier. "The Great Spirit has already sanctioned it," he said sincerely. "I don't know how that will happen. 'Cause all of the men around here are afraid of me," sadly said Madame Montoyier. "All that will change, my love, so, mark my words."